Hello, welcome to the next episode of M.I.C.S podcast. I'm your host, Jeremiah.
I'm one of your hosts, Matt.
Hey, we're going to, shift a little bit. We're going to talk about, just life's questions, the top questions that people question about life,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to put this disclaimer out there that this is just our opinions.
Yeah.
It's not something that we're trying to push or whatever. It's just, our opinions. We don't really know what either one of us is going to say or which question. We have a list. We don't know which questions someone chose, either chose or whatever, what we're going to say. I'm sure Matt's opinion is going to be very interesting. Mine's going to be more in line with, most other humans, probably 9 times out of 10. And so, yeah, it's just going to go ahead and get started.
Before we start, I wanted to just, mention that we have a little side venture we've gotten into. Just want to, to get the audience to kind of, if you haven't seen it, we're doing skits. We have our first one out.
Yes.
And just want to direct your attention. Take it out. If you like it, subscribe.
Yeah. Let us know. Let us know what we can do to
let
improve.
us know. Yeah, of course, we got a lot that we could improve with it, but it's our first one. So I trust me. During editing, I've seen a lot of things we could change. But just check us out.
Mm-hmm.
Give us your opinions. Like, subscribe. The usual.
And stay tuned to many more to come.
Yeah, we definitely are going to be working on a lot more.
Get into that creative bag. Yeah,
So I just want to throw that out there before we got into the episode and whatnot. Also, if you like this, of course, like and subscribe as well. We need the likes. The likes, they definitely get us pushed out there so, the video can be seen by more people. Some of our episodes get a lot of views. We definitely appreciate the likes because it definitely helps with the algorithm. Let people know like people are liking the videos. Would be much appreciated.
Yes, I concur. Yes. Are you ready to get into it?
Yes.
All right. You want me to go first?
You can.
Yeah. Oh, I can?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. All
I'll
right.
give you permission.
All right. Appreciate that. Some of those things I picked were kind of like in harmony with like, I guess, to tell you the choices, because it was like 50 choices. So my choices was kind of based on subjects that we talked about in podcast past, a little bit. Some of the subjects I feel like kind of touched on it a little bit. So, so this first question, it's open. What is the meaning of success?
Of success.
I feel like we talked about it before in the podcast, whatever. So
yeah, I don't think there's one true definition of success. I mean, some people, it depends on what the person, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
For some people might be to have children. Some people might be a relationship, getting married. So it could be money. I got a lot of money. Society. I think it's a combination for me. It's a combination of all of those things. Unfortunately, and I say unfortunately because it's not like we're in charge of our own success. If that makes any sense, you rely on a lot of factors that you have no control over. Like being successful as a parent could be just you being present and giving your kids things and making sure that they're healthy and all that stuff. But a lot of it costs money, which we don't really have control over having all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You may not be able to afford to give your child the best education, health, and all that stuff. Even though you want to, it's not up to you as an individual. So we try our best to do what we can, but success overall, I don't think it means different things to different people, I think, but I think that what I just said was kind of just, for someone to really be doing it in that space of where they really feel like comfortable and they feel like they've made it, I think you need to have all of those. You need to have money, and unfortunately, it's not up to us. Someone else pulling the strings. You could be working for some place for 20 years, and then out of nowhere they just, we're getting rid of half the staff, or we're just going out of business or something. And now, even though you've been loyal, you've showed up every day, you worked your hardest, you've been a good employee, you're out of a job, and they probably won't even give you like no package to leave. Oh yeah, we're going to give everybody something. They're not going to give you that. They're just like, oh, thanks. And they probably are leaving with like a lot of money, probably for selling the company or whatever is left in the building, whatever. But you're not getting anything. You're just now going to have to go to some other place and do the same thing you did at that place with another company. So the money aspect that's why it's unfortunate, I feel. But I think success means different things to different people.
I agree. It's always refreshing to agree with something that you say. But you never know. But yeah, I agree. I feel like it just depends on the person. Because I feel like when people judge you, when the people looking at you on the outside looking in, they have an idea of what they feel is what it means to be successful. And then I feel like you can have a personal belief. And I feel like some people, they lean more towards what they feel other people will classify as success for them. So I think it's, for me, in my opinion, I think it's important for you to personalize that, because it's like, if you're a type of person that's always wondering what other people feel to define you as a person or your success, I feel like you're always going to be trying to climb. You're always going to be looking for it, because it's always going to be somebody who feels like you need to do more and more. So I do feel like it has to be a personal thing. I know for me, I had to go too dark, but I had a friend who he unalived himself. Yes, thank you. But on outside looking in, it looked like he was successful, like he had it all. And he had a good job. He got all the girls he wanted, like Pokemon. He did a lot of like comedy skits, he had like natural talent. Like he was just like one of those people that was like just good at everything. Like naturally, it was like really weird. But it's people like that who they don't do it often, but if they wanted to, they could sing, dance, draw, whatever they decided to do. He just, he had like just that natural ability. And I guess he wasn't happy. So, like sometimes it's like, but on the outside looking in, people thought that maybe like his life was getting better. He was successful in a lot of things, but he wasn't happy. So for me, success is really defined by happiness. Like if you're happy, you're content in your situation, then I feel like you're successful.
Okay.
But anyway.
No, that was kind of dark.
We got deep on the first question.
Yeah, that was kind of, I wasn't expecting that, but I it is kind of subjective. I mean, it's hard to kind of narrow it and kind of be like, this is what makes you, because society messes everything up.
Yeah, I think like for me too, like I'm still trying to get out of the box. I feel like in certain parts of your life, whether you're like a man, whether you're black, white, whatever, I feel like there's this box that people put you in. And, for me, I spent most of my life kind of being in the box. And then as I got older, it's like I wanted to kind of like stuff because I like it and not because of the box that I was placed in. Like, for example, I don't, no, it's not gonna be popular, but I'm not really a big fan of Jordans. You know what I'm saying? Like I respect Michael Jordan, but like the shoes, there's a little too high. A little too expensive.
I mean, you like the way they look, but you just the whole hype around it.
Yeah, the hype is crazy, especially during like our time we grew up, because it's different now. Whereas, cause they was popping out like Skittles, like you know, and then if you wore the old Jordans that came out last month, you'll get joked. But now it's like you can, you know, I literally had some old Jordans on. Somebody bought them off my feet now. You know, so like, oh, I ain't seen them at all. You know, they literally, I got pretty tiny feet. Like my feet like size 10. This dude's probably a size 13. I guess he's gonna sell it in general, but he literally bought my shoes off my feet. Like that's how it is now, but it wasn't like that then. So I think living then kind of put a distaste in my mouth for it because it's like, because I wasn't rich. And so sometimes it's like, if I was to get my parents to purchase this item for me, and by the time I finally get it, now it's the old Jordans. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they got the retros and stuff.
Exactly. But now it's like, it's different or whatever. But, you know, now it's like, you know, I'm going to wear what I want to wear. I'm not spending all my money on something like that. And if I do, like now it's like, I'm more thinking about like comfort. Like when I buy shoes, comfort, I dress more casually. Typically when I'm out, you know, I don't really wear anything that would look good with Jordans for real. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, I just feel like it's important to kind of like get out of that box. If you find yourself in a box, on trying to do what you feel like everybody else is saying you should do, you know, live your life. Anybody going for a minute, so you gonna get out
that box.
Be like Matt, but don't. Because Matt is definitely not in the box.
Yeah. Do humans truly have free will?
Oh, yeah. You asking me that? I feel like, oh. I feel like, to me, I feel like it touches the subject that we talked about briefly on one podcast about being in the Matrix.
Yeah.
I feel like they are capable of having free will, but a lot of times, probably most people are just kind of following something bigger than them or something broader than them, something outside of them. Yeah. So I do feel like people are capable of, what was the question again? Like, how you put it?
Or can human? Let me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do humans truly have free will?
Free will part, yeah. So yes, I feel like we made to have free will, but I feel like a lot of us are followers. Yeah. How about you?
I think no. I don't think that we truly have free will.
Interesting.
And that's from a religious standpoint and from societal standpoint. Even if we were created to have free will, we never were able to use free will without consequence. You know, the religious aspect of it is like, we were given free will, but we can't use it if it goes against certain things. So it's limited. So meaning like we don't truly have free will in that sense. We can do it all the way up to certain points. Like you can't just, you can't do this, you can't do that. I mean, there's structure and laws within, religion that says you can't use your free will freely. There's rules. And then societally, you just can't, you don't have free will because you just can't go and do whatever you want as well. And I don't think you should always just go and do whatever you want anyway, but I do feel like free will would mean that you have the will to do whatever you want to do if you chose to do it. It shouldn't be no barrier to whatever you want to do. And so for me, I don't think we truly have free will because we live in society. And even if you take the societal aspect out of it, you still have religion that kind of governs how you move. You can still do it. I guess that's the other part. Like you can still do it, but then it's like, well, there's a consequence to it. So it's like, do you want to do it at that point? If you're like, oh, well, if you do that, you're dead or something like that. It's like, why would I want to do it at that point? It's like, so I don't think it's false. I think it's like a false sense of free will because I think everybody, like there are people that do stuff like that, but they get locked up or something like that. It's never just like you can just, and some of it may be innocent. Like like right now, we can't just live where we want to live. I find a field in a nice area with a lake next to it. I can't just start building a house there because I want to live there. No, you get, zoning. You don't have the money for it. Some Karen will be like, hey, you can't do that. This is against the law. It's something, I can't just like work. We got to go to work. So it's like, I don't want to go to work, but I got to go to work in order to pay bills and stuff. So it's like, I just can't wake up and do whatever I want to do. I have to go and do a particular thing because no one lives in the United States for free. It's just one of those things. I mean, free will isn't free. It's not free in society, and then it's not free of the mind, because if you believe that there's a punishment after death, or, in how you move, then you're more likely to not do the things that you might want to do. And so, no. And then also just relationships and stuff, that also, like, in certain relationships, people have standards and preferences. So you're still not free there. Then it's no free, you're not free to do certain things in friendships. And, you break it down to like the most smallest thing that you may want to do. And it's always something that governs why you can't do that. And or people will look at you weird if you don't agree with certain things. That also changes your free will as well. It's your perception from other people in society, like, oh, you don't, like you said, like with the Jordans, like, even though you cannot wear Jordans, but that opinion may not be popular, and some people may not want to speak their mind because they don't want to get ridiculed because of their opinions about things. And so that limits people's free will as well, because you just don't want to have that argument with another person about what you believe or how you think and things like that. So it kind of stifles free will in that regard as well. So,
I mean, I think that's interesting. I'm kind of following you, but I feel a little slightly differently, because like I do agree, because like you mentioned like religion, but it's also like natural laws that would prohibit people from doing anything that they want to do. Like I could just be like, oh, my free will is to jump off my balcony and fly. Like I just feel like it's a difference between having free will and then, along with, having logic as well, and wisdom along with it. I do feel like I halfway agree, because I do feel like there's our limitations to our free will. So if there's limitation, it don't really seem free, right? Yeah. But yeah, but at the same time, even when it comes to like religion, natural laws, physical laws, people still decide to do what they want to do. Like for example, I do it all the time, driving on the interstate. Like sometimes like you have a speed limit, and it's like, this unwritten rule, I'm going to drive 5 miles over the speed limit because, I heard that you could, I just feel like there's times where, even though you might be confined with some laws, whatever type of laws it is, whether it's spiritual, like governmental laws, whatever, like people don't always listen to it. So it's like you do have free will to exist. Like there's a law, but you can break it because people do it all the time. So I do feel like there is free will. Like you said, there are consequences, and it still can be free. But I mean, I don't feel like the consequences of all doesn't make it not free, because it's like, it's more to me. I feel like it's like, because all of life is cause and effect. So the consequences may not always be negative, because sometimes like even with like for us, being black, like sometimes like people had to kind of like go beyond the law to create change. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they, but at the same time, they didn't have exact free will because they wasn't viewed as the same level as a person that was, Caucasian. But they still acted differently from the rules that they had, and it kind of made change. So I do feel like there is some free will with some limits. I guess it depends on how you look at it. But I do think it's an interesting question.
Yeah, I think that, like what you said, I think that it's free will. You have to, like, you jump off a balcony, you can do that. But when I think of free, Yeah, it's like kind of why give it to you if you don't want us to use it. You know what I mean? We're gonna but don't do this. It's like but you can do it. But if I do it, I get this. Yeah, but still, like it's like So to me, I don't to me it's just kind of it's kind of hard to wrap your mind around why even give somebody that if they can't be free to do. I mean, you can do it, but then it's like the consequence behind it. And I'm not saying societally. I think society, they never said that we have free will. Mm-hmm. Society was like, no, you don't have free will. You got to follow the laws. Mm-hmm. I think it's more like religious aspect of it. But yeah, that, I get it. It is somewhat, you have the ability to do it, but it's just, I don't understand what's the purpose of giving restrictions if you I don't want to get too far into something else, but yeah, that's just always the thing I've always kind of had a hard time trying to wrap my mind around.
I was thinking more so just a definitely like Google definition, which is allowing people to make choices and that's not that's not being controlled by somebody else, like somebody's making you make these choices or whatever. So, but yeah.
But I'm saying, but that goes again because someone making you make those choices. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think it's some things more extreme than others. Like some people are literally telling you what to do, what to say. I think about it a lot too, like especially when you're like younger and you're like living with your parents rules. Again, they're literally telling you don't do this, don't do that.
It's like there's both the parents is the government or or God or whatever. So,
but
yeah.
But did you listen to your parents? I'm just saying,
That's what I'm saying.
All right. This question right here, I'm gonna take a stab at it because I have an opinion about it. Does money ruin people or reveal them? Yeah. I have like several opinions. I'm kind of like the guy from the movie Split. We got like 15 different personalities or whatever. Yeah, I'm kind of like that guy.
Okay.
Minus the powers. But maybe I don't know. That's one thing I would just love to see personally. That's why I feel like I'm related.
Me too.
Oh, it ruined me. I'm rich. I'm ruined. Oh,
yeah.
Gosh, I wish I was a better person, but I'm just so rich.
Yeah.
I don't know. To be honest, I know for me, the money would definitely change me. I don't know for the best. In my mind, may not be. I might need some help. To kind of, but I just feel like, for me personally, for my personality, I feel like if I ever get any type of like, step up or anything, I'm really gonna be feeling myself just for 6 months. I always feel like sometimes you got to give yourself some, that space to kind of like just be like, I made it, just for a little bit and then get back, be grounded, get back to reality. But yeah, I think money can ruin people. I mean, like you said, from a biblical point, of course, the Bible talks about the love of money, how it's like, you can stab yourself all over like with swords, whatever. And I seen, sometimes you see how money has changed people from the outside looking in, looking at different like celebrities or whatever, stuff that you actually can maybe see from a distance and not really understand the whole situation. But like I said, it's one thing I would like to, the struggle that I would like to see, because, it's different when you seeing it versus living it.
Mm-hmm. Biggie did say more money, more problems.
He did say that.
But I ain't see him throwing away his money.
No. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that it ruins a person. I think those people were those people to begin with. They just needed that money to execute their plan or whatever.
I even like, this is gonna sound terrible probably, but I don't mean it to sound terribly. But I feel like there's a lot of celebrities who do give back. But a lot of times I feel like, in my opinion, it's like a tax write-off.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah, it's a tax write-off. I mean, it definitely is as a way of not paying a lot in taxes or getting your money back.
Write that
now,
off.
there might be some people that still feel as though it's like, oh yeah, I'm still. It's I think that obviously if they did it and they didn't get the taxes back, then I'd be like, okay, that's different. This
Yeah.
person just did it and they didn't even go back. But I'm pretty sure every person, every celebrity that filed, like, gives to charity. Because even, you know, when people win the lottery, that's one of the things they tell you to do. Invest in, like, give you some of it to charity because you'll get it back in taxes.
Mm.
You know, tax write-off also for, like, if you, you know, you're a company and you have some stuff that might be, like, out of warranty or whatever, and you need to get rid of it out of your warehouse or whatever, you can give to a charity. You know, everything that you do, you know, damages and things like that, you can write off your taxes. It's like, it's a rich people loophole type thing where it's like, it looks like you're doing a lot. And not to say like there's some people that they're rich that don't really care about everybody or whatever. I just feel it's like when they do and they publicly say certain things, I don't know, you know. And the only way I don't know, I don't feel like that's, I don't know. I just feel like it's, when I found out that that's what happens when you give to charity, you can write it off. And that's one of those things that rich people do. It kind of changes your perspective of like, are they really doing it because they care, or they just like, oh, I'm not trying to pay, and it makes me look a certain way. And,
yeah,
you know.
exactly.
But I think those people are always that way before the money. I think it's just they needed the money to be this type of worse person that they are. I think they've always had ideas of like being a womanizer or, you know, someone that does some extreme crazy stuff, you know, being a slum lord or something like that. You know, they've always had, oh, I can't wait till I can start firing people. You know, these things don't just develop when you have money. I think they've always had it. What I would say is that I do feel like maybe, I think that it's different for people that were born into money too. They have no concept of what it means to be poor or to be down at the bottom. So it's kind of like their perception is like, why are these people complaining? You know, it's like one of those type of things where you've never went without food or electric or house or anything like that. Your perception is different than someone that's been from that point, than having to come up. They don't see how hard it is for people. Your perspective is different because you've always had food. You've always had this. You've always had things. And when you see other people complaining about it, you're like, oh, why don't you just get money? And it's like, who's good? You know, if it was that easy, you know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody, but they need us at the bottom. So it's like the concept is also when you get up at the top, that's the other thing you got to fight with. Is like, you have to then do that to somebody else at the bottom. Because for you to stay rich, you gotta keep your money. Are you going to pay all of your people enough that they don't have to come into work? Because that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
In order to have a successful company, you need people to have to come back every week to get more money. Because if you give them too much money, they be away too long. They can now go and, you know, go on vacation, probably buy a house, retire. You don't want that. You want them to be at some level to where they need to come back for more. We give you just enough to where you can pay your rent, not enough to where you can pay your rent, all your electric bills, you can pay your car, you can take your kid. And then, you know, because at that point, like, I could just take my check and leave. And what if somebody gets smart enough to start investing in a business and stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? Who's going to then now work for you? You know, so it corrupts in the sense of where when you start getting people around you saying stuff like that, advisors and things like that, because they know how to run a successful company. Shouldn't we give these people more? You know, the inflations and stuff. And no, the shareholders, they want this much back. You know, no, we can't give them that because then, you know, that'll bring, you know, then they may not come back to work. You know, we paid them too good. And then, you know, which I feel like if you pay people good, you treat people good, I think they're more loyal to you than versus you don't give them anything. And but I don't know. I think it depends. If you're born into money, I think it's definitely your perspective is messed up already because you don't know what it is. For those people that never had money, you can kind of, if you really just wanted to, you can kind of think about like what it is to be poor. But I don't think you'll ever 100% be able to understand what it is. And then you got the people that went from rags to riches, literally off the street, and became rich. They know But I don't know if once you're up there, the people you're around, they start to change your perspective. So maybe it does corrupt you in that sort of way because you're always around those type of people. You forget. Like the OJ situation, you know. I think that I don't know if you've seen the OJ documentary. I think it was OJ Made in America. I think it was called. And it was like OJ came from the projects and stuff like that. But when he went to college, he was the superstar, and all these white people started coming around him and stuff like that. And then when he became famous, one of his friends tells a story like he was in a restaurant and somebody was calling them the N-word or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then OJ told him like, "Hey, you seen that?" Said, "Yeah, they called us." He said, "No, they didn't call me." Like they were saying he was OJ, but they were like he was separated from them in a sense. You know, maybe I'm messing up the quote, but that's basically what it was that he didn't see himself. They weren't yelling at him; they were seeing him as something different than they were because he was OJ. But then you know what happened to OJ once he killed his wife. All the white people turned on him, and now he wanted to be. Then he started changing, like trying to be around the black people. Like, hey, I'm one of y'all now. It's like, well, you know. But remember, he came from the projects.
Yeah.
So it's just money can corrupt, but it's just I don't know. I think certain people, it's like they've always idolized certain things. It changes certain people, I guess, depending on who you are.
So I guess to specifically answer the question, because it really seems like it just gives us two choices. Does money ruin people or reveal them? I will say it reveals people, in my opinion, more than ruin. I don't think money. I think it depends on the person who has the money. You know what I'm saying? And in that sense, you know, it just reveals the type of person they are when they have the power. They, you know, like, for example, you mentioned OJ, how he changed when he had the money, but everybody don't do that. Some people stay the same old person, just a little differently. That's what I would like to think that I would do. Be the same OG, but you know, but just a little different. You know, there'll be evidence of my success, but yeah, I do feel like it reveals people. Sometimes you can tell about somebody's like trauma or whatever through what they decide to do when they do make money. So I also like the people who quietly do things, give back, and you won't even hear about it. To me, I feel like that says a lot about you too. One person who, you know, I was going down a rabbit hole. It's gonna be weak when I say who the person is. But Kim Kardashian, because I just didn't really have a good. You know, like when you think about Kim Kardashian actually enter into the world, it was like through a sex tapes.
Yeah,
but it's like, you know, I saw that she actually when I was doing a little bit more research, like she gives back a lot, and it's like you wouldn't even see it or notice it, you know, because it's not something that's promoted, which is crazy because like her whole life is like on camera, like for the last 20 years or whatever or more, and there's a lot of things that she do that will probably make her look better, you know, more human to people that she don't even talk about. So I was like, wow, okay. You know, so that started and that was a long time ago when I looked that up. And ever since then, kind of changed my idea of who she is as a person, even though I don't know her. But yeah, I just feel like sometimes it's like what you do and how you handle it. But I do feel like it does reveal.
Now, see, like with that, I think like you know, you have people in the background that work for you to do that stuff. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times it's on autopilot. If they don't talk about, like I said, we just talked about how it's a tax write-off. Not saying that I don't know. To me, I feel like it's what I always say is like it's action. The action speaks louder than words. So like, if celebrity stood up for people, like a Colin Kaepernick situation, I think that, you know, he lost his career based around that. Mm-hmm. You know, or Martin Luther King, you know, he was out there, you know, people were throwing stuff at him. You know, are any of these people going out of their way, like in that way? Like these people that are so super rich, I feel like the charity is like when things happen, are you going on the front line? Are you in the protest when the police are throwing tear gas and, you know, you're out there with the people fighting for justice or something like, are you that? Are you doing that? Mm-hmm. I think that action is kind of like, well, hey, ain't nobody doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what people with the civil rights movement and stuff like those people were doing that. They were out there, Harry Belafonte, these celebrities, Muhammad Ali. These people were on the front lines risking their career. Muhammad Ali said, like, basically he wasn't going to the Vietnam War. And so, but he put himself out there. And that's basically what happened. And it was able to be seen for everybody. So at the end of the day, I feel like that's one of those things that if a celebrity did, I feel like I would be like, yo, I respect that person. But I think doing it behind the scenes, like I said, it could be tax write-off. It could be all of this other stuff that's happening just so that they can, save their money or whatever it is. But the people that actually come out and stand up for people, poor people coming out there feeding, actually not just feeding, because feeding ain't nothing. It's, people do that ain't got no money. Churches and stuff, people go out and actually feed the homeless and stuff like that. But actually providing home and shelter for these people and getting them off of the street, it's a different thing. So I'll here, give them $1 or something. I don't really like. That's why when like Taco Bell say, "Hey, would you like to get round up?" No, you're $1 billion company. You need to get. I need that money. Mm-hmm. Y'all can do that on your own. Why you need me to give you an extra? Give us round up to the next to help the children. No, you do that. Just give $1 billion to the children, whatever. If that's what you want to do, we paying for food. Like it's already expensive for us. But they always say, "Hey, yeah, we're doing." No, y'all got the money. You do it on your own. You know what I mean? I'm not helping y'all. Y'all multi-billion-dollar company. Mm-hmm. You're getting my money now. You're actually charging me extra so that you can make a profit. Mm-hmm. Why don't you take the profit that you would have made and give that to, if you really wanted to help the charity, whatever it is. But yeah, that's how I feel. Why do people fear being alone? Why'd you look like that? Why you look like that?
Thank you.
It's a slow turn.
People fear being alone. To me, I feel like it depends on how you were brought up. Because some people are comfortable being alone. But some people maybe probably grew up in a big family, had people around them all the time. So they're used to people around them. I don't know. I feel like because it can go. I don't know. I just feel like people I feel like people need people. Like there's something about human connection. You can kind of see that also like in a certain situation where people, okay, you in jail and they take you away from people. How sometimes people go crazy. Just being in the what's it called, like
solitary confinement.
Yeah, like we don't really be around anybody else. Yeah. So I do feel like there's something about us as humans where we need human interaction with people. You also saw that a lot with COVID. COVID was driving people crazy. Like I heard people who, I didn't really experience this, but people who, because a lot of work from home jobs were created, and then some people were just like, oh my God, I want to work back in the office, because like they were just so used. They just at first it was cool, but then after a while it's like they just felt like they needed to be around people. I wish that I could experience that. I had a hybrid schedule before, but I loved it. I every day I work from home. It was great. But there's certain people who, especially during COVID, when they weren't used to having a job like that, where, like I said, in the beginning it was cool. But after a while, it's like they needed people. So yeah, I just think there's something in us that make us need to be around other people. Most people, not you. I feel like you probably will feel differently as an individual versus the average person. You probably, I don't need nobody.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, I don't think people, I don't know, I don't think everybody does, but I think in the year of these years of social media, it's like people gotta have some sort of connection with everybody. But I don't think that the fear of being alone, I think there are, to answer the question, why do people fear being alone? Because it's not really, do I fear being alone? It's just like, why do people fear being alone? I don't know. I think sometimes even dealing with yourself, your own thoughts and all the stuff that we got going on, sometimes that's kind of, you need people to kind of distract you from sometimes that mental thing that happens. A lot of people that go through certain levels of depression and things like that. Sometimes they need to get away from their thoughts. So sometimes people need other people because of that, and the fear of being alone also is like, it's just something that we've never grew up kind of like wanting. And I've never been the only child, so I don't know how that is with, I have a daughter, is the only child, but I can't really ever fully understand her perspective, because I do know that she wants, other kids to play with, but I've always had kids to play with. So I can't, but I've seen people that were the only child. Sometimes they get, she's really spoiled and things like that. So, but so you're like, you get a lot of stuff. Shouldn't you want all the stuff to yourself? And she's, but she wants to be with other kids. To 100% be able to sympathize and understand that from that perspective, I don't know, because I don't, me as a person, I don't really care to be around a lot of people. I think that when I first moved out of my parents' house, it was a challenge, because it was always something going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like any room you walk into, there was someone in there. You can have a conversation. You want to play a game, video game. I could play with, 2 players. Hey, you want to play this? Or like, people just come to you for a conversation or asking you something. It was always just something going on.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to go to the store real quick. Hey, let me go with you. It was always going somewhere with someone. Then when I moved out, it was just quiet. Complete quiet, nothing going on, just TV going. I couldn't go to sleep because it was so quiet. It was just, even though that would probably be the best time to go to sleep, but I felt like I grew up with 6 other people my entire life. It's kind of like, well, not my entire life, because some of them are younger than me, but I've always had people around. So to kind of move out and be silent, I always had to leave the house to go see my brother, walk down the street, spend the whole day with him. He had to kick me out of his house. Like, hey, when you going home? Because I was like, it's just so quiet going back to the house. But now I can go, I can leave, and I can be somewhere, and I don't even notice I'm like by myself. It doesn't really affect me, anymore. But there are some people that just cannot stand being alone. I don't know. That's a question that I don't know if I can answer, because I'm content with it. I love seeing my daughter. I do love seeing my family sometimes. So it's like I'm not 100% like just I don't want to be. But if I had a choice, if my daughter wasn't there, and I don't think I would be like COVID. I didn't really care. I'm like, I didn't really feel any different during COVID. I didn't feel like I was missing out on things. It was like a normal day for me. The only time is when I went to the store, and this is when my daughter was a baby. I went to the store and I tried to pick up some diapers for me and her mom. And mom was like, yeah, get me some while you're there. And I went to go do it. So you can only get one of those. I was like, what? Yeah, you can't get 2. It's only
yeah.
You can only get 1 set of box of diapers. I was like,
yeah,
the restrictions going out to the store. Whenever you would go out to the store, you couldn't get a bunch of stuff or as much as you used to get. That's the only difference. But the being inside, having a curfew, I was one of those people that had to work. I still had to drive to work. I had to drive around with one of those things like, hey, I'm a essential worker or whatever it was if I got pulled over. But I didn't feel any different from that situation. But I knew there was a lot of people like hating it. Like they did not like not going outside. I was like, I don't know. I feel bad for you people. This is like heaven for an introvert.
And okay. So if you could know the exact day you die, would you want to know?
What I want to know?
The exact day you die.
The exact day.
You wouldn't want to know.
No, I wouldn't want to know. Nope.
Interesting. I do, but then it will just really, it will really affect me though. It will make each day significant, because I feel like we kind of take life for granted, not knowing, and we just kind of live how we want to live. But I feel like if you knew, I think I don't know, I feel like it would add more meaning to your life. Like you will just do purposeful things versus just like kind of letting your life run by. Because I feel like that's kind of what I did. I be beating myself up so much to get to this point, because like I wish I was a lot more together at this age. Like I always would imagine that, especially like I think initially, in my opinion, like I felt like 30 was when you're like really an adult. When I was younger, like you're like super adult. And I always felt like at 30, you need to have everything figured out. That's kind of like why I felt when I was a kid. Like I couldn't wait till I was 30 and have my life be structured well and have everything figured out. And being 40 plus, 40 now, birthday coming up.
Plus.
Birthday is coming up soon, be 41. But, I just wish that, I had lived life differently. And so, yeah, I think that it would be taxing to know the date, but it would be interesting. To me, it would make me feel, it would give me like the drive, like maybe I could change it, Because that's kind of what I do when I use a GPS. Like I take satisfaction of getting to my destination before the GPS told me that I was going to get there. It was like, oh, you be there at 4 o'clock. And I'm like, I'm going to get there at 3:55. So I felt like if I knew the day I was going to die, maybe I felt like maybe I could change it. Maybe I could do something different. But yeah, that's how I'm looking at it.
But I think that they probably factored that in. So whatever you thought, it's still going to be the same day.
And that's what I think that's the human thought that I would
beat it.
Yeah, that I could beat it.
Yeah,
like if it's like, especially because it doesn't say like exactly how you die.
Yeah, so, that's even worse.
Yeah, so you could just be in the wrong place at the wrong time, or it could be like, oh, you're not living healthy.
It could be even worse because say you want to know, but you don't. You could be in a coma and then you die like months later.
Some people just wake up dead. Just what? They don't even know why they died. They
wake up dead.
Yeah, they don't even know how they died. They all just like, oh God, I'm dead. Like it's just how life is.
That's how people do.
That's I'm telling you. So
maybe I don't know. That is one of the questions, but no, I was
questions.
No, it's on one of the lists. Is like what happens after.
Oh yeah, wake up dead.
No, they didn't say that. But no, but you could think of it in a different way. Like, what if, people know what time they're going to die, so then they start doing some terrible stuff.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about that, too, in my mind.
They're like, yo, I can now, look, I'm gone next week or whatever, so I'm going to go and kill this person. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go rob a bank. You're going to do all the stuff that you probably ain't supposed to be doing because you're like, well, I'm gone anyway. But that'll be one of those things that, you don't think of, like how people would really think about, oh, I know when that is. Okay, so I can go do this. I could go do this. Mm-hmm. And then people were like, oh, you're going to jail. So, oh, yeah, well, you got like a week.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not like they really care anymore at that point. I think the fact that you don't know makes it a little bit like I think that's when people somewhat live to YOLO or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when people do that because it's like they don't know, so you gotta live every day like da 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 da. It's like that's why people do that. But if you know, you might be more of in a space of where like I can now change. I can do some corrupted type stuff because ain't no consequence. Like I'm already going in somewhere anyway, and that kind of goes for those people that do those. Now we're getting somewhere and that might get us flagged.
Yeah,
because afterwards they do whatever they do, and then they wind up just unaliving themselves at the end. So you got those people. That's basically they're choosing when they were gonna go. But I'm just saying, but you could think of it the other way. Either you don't go when immediately. Like you could be in a coma, and then so you don't even know. Like that month and whatever could be you in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So you really can't even change. You can't do anything. You're struggling to live, and then you just go. So you don't know. They don't put no context behind it, but it could be all of those things. You might die this day, but you've been in the hospital for like a month or whatever it is.
I know some people who, they have a serious surgery, everything was a success, and then like they still die afterwards. Like, they don't even know why. Like, everything was successful. Like, I know several people who successful surgery, everything was fine, and then just they gone. So I don't know. I still want to know. I do and I don't, but I will. If somebody offer, I'm gonna be like, oh, I don't want to know, but go ahead. I'm still gonna. I'm still gonna want to know. It's gonna haunt me. So it's like there is some peace in ignorance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is true.
But it's like sometimes when you have all this information, especially if it's like a lot, it's like, what do you do with it? Like, sometimes it's like you get left with this load, and you may not know what to do with it. And I think that's kind of like the issue, because some people, they don't know what to do with that information. Like, for example, like that song from back in the day. I don't know who that singer is, but he was like, he don't want to know his girl cheating on him.
Oh, yeah. It's Mario.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So it's like, that's a question some people like really be thinking. Like, if your mate, your whatever, is cheating on you, would you want to know? Some people may agree with him and be like, nah, I don't want to know. But then it's like, and then sometimes you get help. Sometimes, and then when and you had this person that you thought was like you said, made for you, perfect. This person just seemed so just top tier, and then you find out they was living this whole nother life. What do you do with that?
Yeah.
It's going to shape your whole understanding of people. It's going to probably make you start having trust issues. If somebody this great can do this to me, or somebody who I felt loved me this much can do this to me, then like, is love real? Like, it makes you, like, sometimes it's like when you find the truth and it's too heavy, it makes you question everything. And so I don't know. Like, I'm big on truth, and I think that's part of adulting. That you have to kind of like be able to carry on, even if what you're experiencing is too heavy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot what I was.
I'm sorry. No,
you're right. I mean, but I think that it's not part of adult. I don't think it's part of adulting, because a lot of adulting is ignorant in itself, because we have to act as though going to work is what we're supposed to do, and we love going to work, and that's what we do. We're workers, some people are kind of, if you say you don't like working, it's kind of like, what? How dare you say that? You supposed to want to work.
When I say adulting, because I feel like you kind of protected as a kid, or you're supposed to. And so I feel like when you're out there adulting, like, you experience things firsthand, and you gotta have to find a way to handle it.
Yeah,
so that's what I mean by adulting. Like, you don't have that safety net that you're supposed to have. So your answer to the question is, ignorance sometimes better than truth? Is no.
I think it's in both scenarios, but I prefer the truth, just because I prefer to at least know what's happening, versus just be like, something's happening to you, but you're just like, I don't know what's going on, when I can know what it is, at least.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? But ignorance is bliss at the end of the day, but I don't think you should just be okay with being ignorant.
Okay. I agree. I guess I'm kind of like with you. Truth, yeah, but I do miss being ignorant on certain things. There's some things it's like, dang, that I know. It's like, oh, can't unknow it.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. The burden of knowing the truth.
Yeah,
and it definitely is a weight, because sometimes you'll see somebody doing something and you care about their feelings, so sometimes you can tell them the truth, but you're like, man, I don't want to, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so And then also it's like you have to still operate in the ignorance as well, like going to work and people are like, oh yeah, I love overtime. You're like, and then you try to tell somebody something and they're just like, you're like, they're looking at you like you're stupid or something. Like, you're like, oh, hey, look over here, you can buy this and you can do this, and you're like, look at this guy, he's over here trying to invest. Mm-hmm. And they're on sports betting thing, getting all the check on something. You're like, okay,
yeah.
That's
I was thinking too, like for myself, like this kind of will open up a box of other conversation topics, but I feel like I have a pretty high EQ, emotional intelligence, and I think that sometimes when you do, you can really see past the mask of people, like what they give you, and sometimes it's like you can really see like people's intentions really clearly, like very very quickly, even though they haven't did anything. And so it's like, what do what do you do with that? Like, because I feel like sometimes, like with us, we could be like super discerning as humans, and sometimes when you like really tapped in with people and how they move, like sometimes you can like really figure everything out in the beginning. And so it's weird to navigate, especially when they haven't did those things yet. So
yeah.
So that to me that has put me in a very tough spaces, especially like sometimes like me, like I'm so open and honest. Like sometimes I'll try to fight the potential issues or whatever that hasn't even happened yet. And I'm the one that looks crazy and don't understand. And I'm, and then it's like, then they do it and they don't even remember the conversation I had initially that I told them that they were going to do that. But so it's really frustrating because like sometimes like I want to help people. Especially when like for me, like I don't know, like I be wanting to help people and say, especially at this age and all the experiences I had, like I wish, like for me, I had somebody kind of guide me. And so at this age now, because of all my experience, all my failures, because I was one of those people that had to kind of go through it to learn, which is like you learn a lot. It's a horrible way to learn. Having to go through everything to learn. And so it's like when I see people who kind of think how I used to think when I was younger, like I just really want to help them. I want to, So yeah, so it was a lot, Sometimes you have to kind of like ignore. You got to watch people sabotage themselves. And it's rough, especially like when you have a connection with a person that your family, or your friends or whatever, or maybe a boo. And sometimes it's like you have to literally know that they're going to, have some type of calamity coming up in the future because of the direction they're going, and you just got to watch it. So it's rough.
I don't care to help anybody like that. I think that
it's on track.
No, I'm saying I want to help somebody, but I don't care about helping everybody. Because like, for instance, like I think it's a waste of your energy and time to try to help everybody. In my opinion, you can put stuff out there. Like I can speak in general. Like, I'll be in a space that we're talking about, and be like a group of us, like at work or something, and I'm speaking in general because I know most of this is going to go on deaf ears. I just, so I don't try to help everybody, but I do put out. And what I'm saying is try to be as accurate as possible. And the people that are around it actually like pick, hey, what would you, I leave the conversation. Hey, what were you saying about that thing the other day? Those people that are intrigued in that, then they continue to try to, hey, so you said you were going to show me how to, that's how you know. But you can't help everybody. Some people are just like, that's what I'm saying, willfully ignorant. You could be saying the truth and they just be like, you're speaking Chinese or something like that. And it's like, and I'm not saying like I have all the answers. I encourage everybody to, even if I had said something, still go out and research it yourself. Because I feel like once it becomes real in your mind, or however you feel like that can become real in your mind, make sure that happens for you in that natural way. Because I know how I think. And I don't think the same way that other person thinks. So I think like if I tell you, hey, go research it, and then you come to that conclusion yourself, your brain maps it out a different way because you've seen it. You worked it out in your mind. Okay, this says this. The study says this. Statistics says this. And I've seen my actual, in reality, it happened this way. And you can put all of that together. Versus, like I said, I've done that in my mind. Like I went and I researched, okay, I see this, I see that. And then in my mind, from my own experiences and stuff, I've seen how it works out for me.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you can tell me something, I have no idea what happened. Like I'm hearing what you're saying, but I'm not 100% sold on what you told me.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll go and say, let me go and see.
Yeah.
And then I'll look up some other stuff and I'll say, okay, that is what he said. And then let me go look at the counter to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll come up to my own conclusion from all of those things that I've done.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, okay, now it's more realer in my mind versus you just telling me. Even though I respect what you're saying, it's still like I still have to do all the knowledge, the searching and understanding myself to where I can understand it the way that my brain works.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that, I don't care what you say. It's just it works better for me to see it the way that you probably went and did the research. Mm-hmm. My mind has to probably go and see this research too. And then it'll be like, okay, all right, that makes more sense. Because maybe even out the way I'm explaining it may not be the proper way. Like I might be going in circles or maybe I'm not hitting every point or something like that. So if you go and do it yourself, take a little bit of what you're hearing from me, and then you go and do some more research, then you be like, okay, I get what you were saying. But at the moment I didn't know. So I was unsure until I seen it for myself, and then that's a little bit different. So but yeah, that's normally how it works for me. But
okay,
I can be alive.
28.
Can
artificial intelligence become truly alive? Well, in the skit that we did,
yeah,
that said something different. But I don't know. I feel like as humans, we created something that is gonna evolve. Like when it comes to like AI. So, and I think we kind of see it too, because we're making movies about it, like in general. Because it's like you almost can see it personally, because it's like with all the co-pilots and the chat GPT, whatever it's called, ABC.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can do a lot. It's just like the stuff that we can do as regular people. We don't know like what the government would have to themselves or whatever. So it's like I can't even imagine. So yeah, I think at a certain point, if it's not already there, that I think eventually, AI is going to evolve to that point.
Yeah, I'm always like how we work as people. Like, what makes you alive?
Because I think when it means alive is like have a consciousness. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But what makes you conscious? You know what I'm saying? When I seen like there was like somebody, a whistleblower came out, I think from Google, that said that the AI started to question its existence or something like that. And it was like, now what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? Because you think about the brain, we have electrical pulses and stuff that goes through our brain and, nerves and things like that. But what makes you? Over time, obviously, learning and stuff like that, you got experiences that you've had and things like that. But we can't tap into the internet the way a computer or some type of artificial intelligence. It has access to everything. So what makes us alive is, I guess the human connection, the things that our experiences of growing up. I think that's the thing where I will feel it can't be 100% alive.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you're born. We're not aware of us being born. But what makes us to the people we are today is like the progression of like being a kid, then being a teenager, then being an adult, a young adult, and then being, AI is just has everything right then and there. And it's like, it's breaking down information based upon what we've entered into the system as far as a database or whatever it is. So it has all of these things that we've put into it versus the experiences it has on its own, which I think which makes it more human, would be the interaction that someone has with another person. That's why people are, could be racist. Some people can be, not, because their interactions with the other race, you being around them enough, you be like, oh, you know what? They're not all like that. That's just some of them. Or, but if you just watch TV or going by the data, you might say, look, data says that all of these people are criminals and all these people, and then you will be wrong because that's not true. All black people like rap music, and that's not true neither. But it's just like it will go by what's put into its programming. So I don't know if it can be what this is, alive or human. I think it was. I mean, it could be. I think it can be alive, but I don't know if that means the same thing as being, like human. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think it's like, because to me, I'm just thinking about alive and being conscious of his existence.
Yeah, because like birds and animals are alive.
Yeah,
but they don't act like us.
Yeah.
So can it be alive? I think it can be alive, but I don't know. Will it be the species of like a different thing? Like, we're different, we're human, but we're part of the primate family, we're smarter than chimpanzees and gorillas and, but they act different. It's alive. Mm-hmm. So I don't know to that extent. Like, will it be us? Will it be now I've always looked at it, and this is a little bit off topic, but the human connection between AI and the AI in robotics. I've seen like these prosthetic legs and stuff, and people have been doing some cool stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm like, man, I want one of those. Mm-hmm. They put on the arm, they got like a drill on it and stuff. Like, that's cool. I mean, I don't know. They got one with I seen one that had like a gun and I'll get a little bit. It's just like they just got different, Yeah. But I'm saying also on top of that, like, the stuff that we have, like, the wearables and stuff like that. You got the meta glasses, they can translate language. Like, you go to a foreign land or something like that, and they're speaking their language. You're like, oh no, I'm lost. I don't know where's the nearest store. I can't even ask them that because I don't know how to speak it. Then put the translation on. It's just like they're speaking English. Will those barriers that separated people for a long time like be separated, or would they be like a chip that you can put in? I don't know. And then now you can just understand stuff like those connections. I feel like will elevate. I think humans. Because you have the human aspect plus the AI part. Mm-hmm. But the AI itself, just by itself, I don't know. But I know that was off topic.
It definitely was.
Yeah, but I know. It just
no, it's cool.
in.
No, but I don't know. Like I said before, like I'm not scared of AI. I'm like, I welcome it if they want to, whatever. If we're gonna have an Ultron situation.
That's why you ended up in that situation.
In the skit? Shut up. But yeah.
Why you do that? Yeah.
But yeah.
But I just
ain't worried.
That's why that happened. But either way, I'm hopeful for the future. Hopefully, things. With that, robotics being alive, we can coexist. It's not like
they don't take over and feel like they could do things better than humans.
They already do stuff like that now with them. Like I said, them little traffic cameras. I hate them things.
Yeah.
I got a thing in the mail.
Yeah, I got 2 tickets.
We just pay this bill or else. That's I don't know. That might be. I like the cops that we get pulled over.
Oh God. All right. Okay.
I prefer them.
Okay. The people who might actually, do some extra stuff.
Sometimes they let you go. Sometimes,
Pop and ask questions later. You rather have that. Okay.
Yeah, I'd rather have that.
Right. Pop ask questions later.
I'm joking.
But anyway, well, that's it. We gonna stop it there. Because I keep talking, I'm gonna reveal too much of the skit.
Yeah,
I already did enough. And yeah, stay tuned to the next episode. And we'll, see you soon.
Yep.
Like and subscribe.